So we're done shooting. What's next? This is called post-production. If you shoot, even with these beautiful cameras, if you shoot it as is, they look like video, especially a 5D. Movies look different because they use lookup tables. They have a filmic quality and look. This is color process. So if you look at the image on the bottom, the image on the top, you see a lot of colors have been pulled out. Films tend to color correct to certain colors for certain moods and emotions. We crush blacks to make it look more dramatic. The audience is just used to this. If you don't do that, your film just looks like a video. It looks like a cheap video, even with all this equipment. So post-production happens here. Color corrections, moving all your stuff, crushing it. This is an important part. Even if you, especially if you shoot on an iPhone, you should do some of this stuff. On the right are some presets. Anybody here of something called Magic Bullet? It's a cool little software that my friend from ILM wrote that's now all over the world. It's all these preset looks that I want the Matrix look, all the green, crushed blacks. I want, you know, a cold steel look. I want this, it's all presets. It means you can make adjustments. But these are tools that are very good, quick shorthands for those of us who don't have money or time to get something that looks more film and more professional. What's this? I think sound is ignored so often, you know. When you shoot a production and you don't have a good camera, I mean a good microphone, you're going to get crappy sound. You also need, just like you pre-plan your entire visuals, you need to pre-plan your sounds. George Lucas, my former big boss, I remember a quote of his. He said, half of the film experience is sound. That's why he spent so much money developing THX and developing theater surround sound. Before that, that didn't exist. That big Hollywood blockbuster feel is because of the sound. You turn that sound off. I've worked on big giant movies without the sound, and it's like, you know, that's my job to study the image. But once the sound turns on, I feel like I'm in that movie. With just the images, oh, it looks nice. It's, you know, there's Tom Hanks or there's, you know, some famous actors, but it's not a movie. And that sound design, if you don't take it seriously, if you don't think of it as half your experience, you're not going to have a film. You're not going to have a professional production. And that goes, you know, even for this, especially for this. You could shoot on this and you have this big sound that's well thought out with great music. And this little thing feels huge. So never underestimate when to start your sound design. So now that we've edited it and thrown it all together, it's time to package it and distribute it. Today, more than ever, you know, you used to just say, I want it in the theater. And that still is, you know, look at that AMC sign, you know, one of the biggest theater chains in the world. It's like a shrine. People still like going to movie theaters. Not as much as before, but you go to a movie theater for that big theatrical, it's the experience, going with the community. The theater is like a shrine for stories, for images. To this day, we still go to them. Even though we're less and less, we still pay to see the big budget Hollywood movies there. But today, we have more ways than ever to distribute. You don't have to pay legally. You still can pay to see movies in other ways. And that, like Netflix or iTunes, or there's so many other places to do this. So I like to say, don't think of it as just, I'm going to shoot on film and make a film and it's going to be a movie theater. I think the future, or now, not even the future, but definitely the future, is to break that paradigm, to think about it as a movie, as a story. Think about it as something that you want to tell and it gets out there. You know, an interesting statistic is there's more people watch TV than watch movies in theaters. So if you want to get your image, your story out there, don't think of it just as, I got to get into the theater. It's a privilege. I think it's a privilege to direct and produce your own film and to put it into a theater. Very few people in the world have that privilege. But all of us can, because of technology, because of know-how, we can all make movies. We all now have a voice. We have more ways than ever to shoot this stuff, acquire the images. We have more ways than ever to reach our audience. So I think that's an incredibly exciting time to be in media, not just movies, but films. So after we're done shooting it, though, it's more important than ever to package it. Like, now that everybody can shoot something and throw it onto YouTube, there's so much noise out there. So I think it's very important for you to think about, how do I package my film? What's the image I want people to get when they look at this stuff?